Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody? A little late, but busy day. And I don't think we mind these uh, late classes. As long as this class, if you can't make it live, you can make it video. So as we see gold, 2660. The 10 o'clock. Now notice at about 9:50 how it goes from 2649 to 2661. Hello, my Teaserking family. Sometimes I come on, but it's kind of updating. So hope you're having a good day and everything else, and everybody's well. So we can see here gold 2661 now, silver 3186. So if you notice at about it's about 8:15 because they're 2 hour blocks, so 6 to 8 to 10. So about 8:15, 8:30, it goes from 2649 to 2661. And when you see that just before 10, you know the 10 o'clock's going down because they're trying to build the price up. So when they do their put options, it'll be at 2661 instead of 2649. Some more illegal insider Madoff bullshit. And then notice how it goes down to 2643, and then they get out of the option. Maybe they need $20 or $18 to complete the option, to get the option to make money, and then right after it, it goes right back up to 2649, and then slowly back up to 2660. So 2661 is the high. We're having difficulty at this point getting to 27, but we know it'll be 30 or 3,000 easy, probably 30,000. So that's where we're at. Silver 3186. Let's take a look at the silver. Can we see the silver chart? There it is. So silver did hit 32.28. And then, right about the same 10 o'clock, it goes down to 31.45 and then kind of levels off 31.86. Funny how the same exact chart for both things. I am cooking barbecue chicken right now, so I will have to turn it over shortly in 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I do a nice marinade. I put olive oil, the French dressing, and then my salt, the Celtic salt, and the cayenne pepper, and some garlic, and some the rose. I think no basil, and some turmeric. And I mix it all in, and some honey, and I mix it all. I was wondering why my honey's down because I put some honey into it. So I mix it all up, and I just baste the chicken and let it sit for a half hour, and then it's cooking. So I'm hungry. There's nothing to eat here, so I got the chicken. Anyway, so 2660, 3186, off we go. Again, so I've asked the question, what is inflation? And they don't understand. It's the printing of money. So we see the prices, they're paper, they're derivative prices. We see real assets will save you from the inflation, because all the inflation is, in simple terms, is this dollar going to zero. Because if you print the dollar, it goes to zero. This is what happens when you overprint anything. Or if you go to the store and they have a big run on oranges, they mark them 59 cents. That's what sales are. We get this big inventory in, and then they start selling they put it on sale to get rid of the inventory. Well, that's what the dollar is, basically. They printed so much of it that it's gone. It's just has no more value. Nobody wants it. There's too much out there. And this is the problem. This is why all the paper currencies go out, and why gold and silver don't. So when I say why gold and silver, the reason is you can't print it or copy it. This is it. It comes out of the ground. They melt it into this. That's it. There's no more. They can't make fake gold and silver like they can print this and this. So this is all going to collapse because they print it. George Soros ruining the West. Let me turn over my check. I'll be right back. All right, so we do 8 minutes on one side and 8 minutes on the other side. All right, so again, that's why gold and silver, because you can't print it or copy it, therefore it can't be inflated. This is why it's been around for 5,000-10,000 years and always had a value, because you can't, it proves that something limited keeps its value, right? 50 count Mahomes. Rolex watches are extremely limited. And so anything with demand and very limited keeps a high price. Now you can see how gold and silver are manipulated, because a limited card goes way up in value. Montana's PSA 10 rookie is very hard to get. It's very hard to get centered. So with that being the case, 12, okay, 12, 8, 13. With that being the case, why is gold so cheap? It's very limited. It's very high in demand. Everybody loves gold. I don't know anybody who doesn't love gold, right? It's as simple as that. If you see it, if I were to say, I'll give you an ounce, I don't know anybody that would turn me down. Very, very few, and those are idiots, right? So that's why gold and silver, because it can't be printed. But why are we even interested in gold or silver? Why? What's wrong with our dollars? Why are they losing value? Why is there inflation? Why is there a need for a consumer price index, as we talked yesterday? Why do we need a price index? Why do we track inflation and interest rates? Because the dollar is bullshit. It's Madoff. It's all Ponzi scheme. You are led to believe that this actually has a value, and it's just a piece of paper. This has no value. I can go to the store and buy it because the government makes them. You have to accept it. Just like they have to take payroll taxes out of your check. It's a law that they have to. It's not that they want to, and then they got to go file it and all the extra work for the employer. They have to, because if the employee ever got his full gross check, so if you got a $2,000 check without taxes, nobody would pay the tax. So they force the employer to pay the tax. And so when you get it, you don't get the 2000, you get 1500. You get about 75% of it. Hey, Luke. Missiles flying, port shut down, stock market up. Of course, because it's not real. That's what I'm talking. Missiles flying, I assume you mean in Israel. I think, did Iran fire on Israel? I read a brief thing. I'm more worried about Ukraine and Russia. The ports are shut in America. Stock market up because it's not real. Crazy. Just let me go on my vacation before they. That's why I didn't go to Greece. It's too close to the action. Italy should be okay. I can probably see the missiles blowing up where we are over the water. Hopefully not, but anyway. So I got the flight set. I got the driver, I guess, waiting. I don't know where he'll pick me up. I think he'll get me right after customs. And I hate this 45. He'll wait 45 minutes. Well, what if there's a big line or we land late? He better not go. I paid for it. So I hate that little, like, I get you don't want me to go have lunch and then have the driver waiting, but it should be okay. I leave Tuesday afternoon. I leave 12:20 here. I get to Newark 2:13, and I leave 4:10 out of Newark and get there 7 a.m. And I told the driver, start the clock at 7:30, so it gives us enough time to get off the airplane. I'll have my own luggage, so there's nothing there. Then we'll have to go through passports, but I don't think it's 7 a.m. in Naples. There'll be 25 planes like at Philadelphia or Detroit or some of these big airports. So I'm not expecting normally when you go to Europe, you don't even go through. There's nothing to declare. You just get the passport stamped and you go get your baggage, go to the taxi. So that's what it is. So I'll just have to see. So I figure, I'd rather wait, get a coffee and meet him at 7:30 than not. But I'm starting to see why the taxis are there. It's a 90-minute drive to my hotel from that airport. And so if you're a cab driver, you're figuring, well, who's going to take the cab once I'm in Pasadena or whatever it's called? Nobody's going to want a cab back to the airport. So they're kind of charging you more. But since this is through bookings. So if you book the hotel through bookings, then it gives you an option to book a car from the airport, and it's cheap. It's $128, and I book both ways. So when I got to go back to the airport, I have the car. It was $128 each way, which is nothing. It's expensive, but my alternative is $200 or cabbing to the ferry and then figuring out how much the ferry is to the other city, and then the city that's 5 miles away, cabbing. How much is that going to be? And I can't walk 5 miles, too hard on my feet and back. So I said, hell, for the 128, it's not going to be much cheaper to get to the ferry across, and then cab to the hotel. And does the guy speak English? I mean, this way it's all paid for without me having to, I hit the credit card. It's already done. So I don't have to fuck around with that when I get there. So I think we'll bus around to the other cities on the coast and do some walking. It's a 5-mile walk from where we are to that nice city. So we might do that, but I don't know if I can last 5 miles and then walk 5 miles. I can't walk 10 miles. It's my feet will not, and my back. A couple at a time, but it's supposed to be really good views and good restaurants in the other city. So that's Tuesday. Jenna's all set. I just booked her hotel at the Warsaw airport area, and she'll shuttle to the airport, but she'll get in on the 8th, 20-hour train ride, right? She'll get in on the 8th, go to the hotel, and she can relax. And then, I'd say about 2:30 shuttle. Her flight leaves at 5 something and gets in at 8, but it's a nonstop. So we're all set. Back and forth. So she's already got the train ticket back and forth. She's got the 20-hour. I don't know how she does it. 20 hours on a train. through the Ukraine. I'm thinking the Russians are like sending missiles at the train, but I guess not. I do use Uber when I can. I don't know if there'll be Uber there. If there is, I will use it then. Um, I think that would be more local people using Uber than taxis doing it. Yeah, I always take pics. Um, I do a lot of pics. Um, we'll take the Mediterranean, the hotel, the Jenna. So yeah, we'll take a lot of pics. Just second, let me get my chicken out. Sorry about that. I'm barbecuing chicken. I took it out of the freezer, so I had to make sure it was defrosted, and then to the pool. And then the Tiger game was on at 2:30 to 5 or something. So I was watching the game. I should have done the chicken then, but I was too lazy. And then so I just did it now. So I just went for a walk while it's sun's going down, and that's it. Gold 2661. So anyway, yeah, so that's next week. And I'll still do the show a little bit, not every day, but and it'll probably be a football econ class. I'm not going to take two classes. Jenna goes out to smoke or something. I'll do a small one, but yeah, we'll be relaxing. So again, why is there inflation? Why is there a CPI? Prices we need, but why is there a CPI? Why are we worried about the consumer price index and inflation and interest rates? Because the dollar's bullshit. They print it too much. They're trying to control the prices with the supply, which is just pure bullshit. The market has to control it. So when we go for ribs, we agree to pay $25 for a rib dinner. We do not agree to pay $45. So we don't need a CPI unless you're going to tell us what the prices are, but they vary all over. Like I said, I can run an auction on Mahomes and I can get $1,000, and then you can run it. Luke buys it. He can do the auction and get 1,500. And then, but we notice the price won't go down on Mahomes, and it's 50 count. So why is it's 50 count? Why is it more than the regular card? Because it's limited. Therefore, we don't want a lot of money printed. That's why you need the money backed by gold. So in the future, for your kids, anytime there's money and it's not backed by gold, just have your kids buy gold and silver and say, the dollar will go out. You will need gold and silver. And if it's cheap, buy as much as you can and just store it, because it will eventually go to zero because it's not backed by anything. And these idiots will keep printing it because they're a bunch of morons. So I'm on the bike at the gym, and some guy goes to me. We're watching the ticker on the TV, and he goes to me, I mentioned gold. He says, just buy stock. If you notice, it always goes up. Really? 1929, 1987, 2000, 2008, it always goes up. Wow. Well, I guess what happened then? Because it didn't go up, it went down. Now it's all price fixed. They're just printing money and throwing it in the market. So if you mean because it's manipulated, fine. If you mean gold never goes up because it's manipulated, fine. That doesn't mean the value of gold and silver is the real value, as I say. So, we get it's going to go up because it's been manipulated, because of inflation, because of people realizing it's been held down and it's worth a lot more than it is. That's the real secret to what we're doing. That's why I say in my title, paper gold, because this is worth a lot more than $32, right? We know that. It's probably worth 1,000, but they keep pushing the price down, pushing the price down. Hey, it's $30. So in other words, if you keep lying that the sky's red, people will actually believe the sky's red instead of blue. That's what happens. So that's what we have. That's why gold and silver, and that's why I'm like, the stock market always goes up, and I'm rolling my eyes at this guy, going, "Oh, what an idiot." So he's in stocks because he thinks they'll keep going up. Even if they get hit, they'll still go up. They'll be 50,000. They'll be 100,000. What are you on drugs? What kind of logic is that? Do you understand why stocks go up? Because the companies are worth more. Are these companies worth more? Now you can argue, well, Facebook is global, so they look at all the customers. Yeah, but they don't charge. It's all selling your data to whoever, the George Soros, the government, who are they selling it to? And that's really the problem, is these guys selling it, but are they profitable? They're not profitable because they don't make money. Therefore, you got to be careful. So are the companies going to keep growing? Oh, there's a point where they don't keep growing and they start going down. Tesla, how many electric cars is this guy selling? None. Oh, he put a rocket, big deal. You can't go more than 100 miles up or it disintegrates because of the radiation. So, and everybody's demanding, nobody demands electric cars, and nobody demands rocket rides. If I want to go on a rocket rides, I'll go to Cedar Point. So I don't know what this guy's smoking, Tesla, but he never makes a product that there's actually a demand for. Sees law number one, you make what people demand. You got money, I want to buy a tennis racket. I call Luke, say, give me a tennis racket. Here's whatever it costs. I see the prices. I look for competitors. Luke, you're 400. Everybody else is 5. I'll buy it from you. You're 400. Everybody else is 3. I'll buy it from them. And that's the way prices are set. It's by us looking at it, Say's law. But if Luke's trying to sell, I don't know, baseball bats and there's no demand for it, then he's stuck with nobody wants them. Nobody will pay for it. Hence the dollar. Nobody wants it. Everybody's getting out. They're all running to the exits going, I don't want the dollar. So this is the problem. So I don't even look at stocks. I don't look at the CPI. I don't care about unemployment rates. Everybody's trying to factor that in. Well, that'll tell us what the economy is doing, and then I can buy stocks and get rich because the stocks will go up because the economy is booming because there's not a lot of inflation and there's not a lot of unemployment, so everybody's working. They can buy more. What a bunch of fucking idiots! Oh my God. It's hard to understand how stupid people are, that they're totally looking left when they need to be looking right. None of that matters. None of that. You can't possibly figure any of that out. And why you don't need to. If you just have gold, you don't need it. You don't care. But everybody's trying to get rich quick, as I talk about. So I got my money. I got my Say's law. I went to work. I got my extra money. And now how do I make money on that money? I need to get rich quick. I'm going to buy stocks because stocks always go up. Where do people come up with this shit? I guarantee you everybody has bought stock before and it's gone down, right? Everybody. I don't see how that hasn't happened. Every stock goes up, goes down. They commit a crime. There's polluting. They missed their number. I've had it where the sales number is up, but their income number was down, or they made $1 billion, but they were looking for $1.1 billion. The stock goes down $20. It's one of the most manipulated. You think football fixed? It's one of the most fixed things there are is stock, as we saw Michael Douglas. Bluebird wants, Jet Airlines or whatever the hell he said. And then they bought it to raise the price, and then they all dump it when the price goes up. And you want to call that free market? You want to be with those guys? I mean, I've never really been a big stock guy, hence the Montana card. So I was better off at using my head and understanding what's out there, and then buying a Montana card, a Maze card, a Mantle card, gold and silver, going, well, that's really it. Now, somebody needs to explain how gold and silver are not an investment. What is an investment? You're putting your money in, hoping to make money with it. So how is gold and silver, or how are we not making money with it? How is it not an investment? Gold's not an investment. So just because they say it, they think, oh, it must be true because you're saying it. Or these guys that say, well, you can print as much money as you want, nothing will happen. What are you, out of your mind? What are you talking about? Prove it. I don't have to prove it. I just have to say it because it's a lie. So I don't have to prove a lie. And this is that, and everybody gets sucked in, and everybody just believes, oh, this guy said it, so it must be true. And I'm going to go and, like our Wall Street guy, I'm going to go and put 60 grand in real estate trust. Why? Well, because this guy recommended. Do you know the guy? No. Did he not recommend gold? Oh, wait, he's a stockbroker or a financial advisor. He can't recommend gold. So he's going to put you in dog shit real estate trust. Because in 1997, when Clinton signed this law that said, we want everybody to own a house because we're communists, and therefore you have to, if anybody wants to buy a house, you have to sell it to them. You have to give them a loan. It doesn't matter if they're working, if they have credit, if they're a 400 credit or a 700 credit. You've got to loan it to us. And they didn't want to loan it, and then they forced them. Clinton put pressure on him to do it. And he said, well, if it goes under, we'll fix it. Well, that's awful nice of you. You're fucking up the whole system because we can't just give a loan out because you want us to give a loan out. If the guy's not working, how the hell is he going to pay the loan back? So Clinton caused the whole crisis. And then these idiots who then came up with these real estate trusts and all these derivatives, and the girl at the casino, whatever her name is, who people were betting on her that she would win, and the derivatives were then betting on the other people who would bet on the derivatives and all that shit. Just a nightmare. It's funny how when you watch that other movie, and you watch the Batman character, like they're trying to make him seem smart, like he knew what's going on. And he didn't, because if he understood what was really happening, he'd have been on it since 1997. He'd have known that's going to collapse it. He'd have known he wouldn't have to look at and read all these loans. And he read all these loans and said, oh, they're all going to default. Well, you would have known that way ahead of time. Just like me telling you to buy gold and silver because the dollar is being printed to death, and therefore it's going to be worthless. We already know that. A leads you to B. The dollar being printed at trillions of dollars leads to it being worthless. I don't have to read anything else. I don't have to look at a CPI. I know the inflation is cooking. I know the dollar is worthless. And then they add fuel to the fire. Why are all these countries dumping it and buying gold? And why are all the central banks buying gold? And why do all these countries want to de-dollarize? Because it's not worth anything. Putin said it. It's like a Snickers wrapper. That's what it's worth. but nobody wants to listen to that. See, nobody can put two and two together. That's why Titanic, it hits the iceberg, it's going to sink. Well, you print trillions of dollars, it's worthless. But people can't think like that. I mean, it's just amazing. So if you would have done that in 2007, you would have. Now these products weren't even available, shorting it, so you could never have bet that the real estate trusts are going to go under. There was. You just bought the real estate trust, and they gave you 8-9% because they charge you more for a mortgage. That's the whole point of it. So if you get a mortgage, you're getting it at 8%, let's say. And then they're saying, well, we'll give you 7% if you buy the real estate trust. And you're going, wow, I only get 3% in my savings. Wow, this is great. I get 7 or 8%. I'll take it. That was the carrot, right? We'll give you a higher return. How can there be risk? It's houses. And then you realize, yeah, there's a big risk because the mortgage, the whole market's fucked up. So you need to understand what A does to B to C to D. We do it in football. We do it. Miami or Florida State might be a better pick this week because Ugly Boogly is out with a broken finger. They probably broke it after the game. So, well, son, sorry, son, it's broken. You can't play. They'll play much better this week because Ugly Boogly is out. But you gotta everything you watch. I'm watching the games, and when things don't go according to the way they should, I investigate why. Why didn't this? Why is Arizona not scoring? Right, and then you kind of go from there. A lot of problems in the NFL is there's no running games. All these coaches are doing these short passes or these wide receiver screens in lieu of the running. And believe me, the running, you got a good running back like Derrick Henry, it blows away all these bullshit little passes, especially inside the 10-yard line. So it's just the coaches are very stupid. I was watching the Tiger game today, and what a bunch of fucking losers around the Tigers. They're all dancing around. Somebody get a hit, and they're all, they're all hugging each other, and in the fifth inning or whatever. And you're like, oh my God, Barry Sanders would get a touchdown. He'd hand the ball to the ref. Act like you've been there. Don't act like a child. And yet all these guys on the baseball team, they're all a bunch of minor leaguers. They should be in minor league. They're AAA, AA players. The Tigers didn't have anybody, so they brought him up, and this shows you how bad the league is, that they're all hitting about 230, 240, maybe 250. That's it. They got one hitter, I think, at 280. That's it. And everybody else sucks, and they're just and the pitchers are terrible. Another bad managerial decision. Never pull your starter when he's shutting them out. Why do they keep pulling their starter? What is wrong with these managers? You leave him in, let him go. You've pitched the whole fucking game, right? No, they can't do that. So they bring in the reliever, and of course the reliever screws the game up. And he's supposed to be a really good reliever who couldn't throw a strike to save his life. He comes in 4 balls in a row. Yeah. Oh, this is the great reliever. Okay. And you took the starter out who's striking everybody out. Really good managing there. You're trying to manage to let your team win, and yet he's another Madoff, right? He's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. Anyway, baseball is terrible. I mean, I'm rooting against the Tigers. I don't like them. I think this is all bullshit. This is extremely. I got to watch a shot clock. I got to watch all this shit. What the fuck you doing? The umps are terrible. They're blowing calls. Ground ball over the base is fair, not foul. Anyway, just absolutely ridiculous. And the pitching, I mean, the Tigers can't hit, and the pitchers are pitching it right down the middle. What the fuck is that? Guy hits a double with the bases loaded on a pitch that I could have hit up for a home run. I mean, it was right down the middle. Great pitching. Oh, my God. And you took the starter out for this guy who's a good reliever. Yeah, my ass, he's a good reliever. Another bad decision. Anyway, frustrating. So that's why I don't bet baseball very rarely. It's just so bad. It's very inconsistent. The talent levels minor league, but that's what we got with the stock market and everything or with the government. It's all minor league. It's all inferior. It's all a bunch of idiots that don't know what they're doing. So why the stock market only goes up? I heard that. I was like, well, I can't even talk to this guy. What am I supposed to say to him? Like, well, yeah, until it did that in 1929, didn't it? Yeah. Okay, and you got the same tariff bullshit going around now, and you got sanctions going around. How is the market supposed to go up when Russia and China don't want to trade with you? Right. So it's bullshit, all this whole thing. Gold will save the day. He who has the gold sets the rules. Right now, China and Russia have the gold. We'll be setting the rules. And it's really a shame. It's just terrible. And how can the U.S. be this stupid? How do you not know gold is? I don't understand it. It's such a simple thing. Gold can't be printed or copied. It never loses its value. So why wouldn't you back your dollar by gold? No, we want this. We want toilet paper. We're going to go with the toilet paper, and we'll just say the sky's red, and they'll believe it. We'll just say, oh, the dollar's fine. It's the reserve currency, and it's the petrodollar. It's not the petrodollar. You can buy oil from Saudi Arabia in any currency you want, and it's going to gold very, very soon. Hey, Pat, how are you today? What's new in Singapore? You buying your gold and silver like a good boy? So I said gold was 26 something, 2660. $26,659, 3173 for 3173 for silver. So we're doing okay. The shorts are losing control over silver. Loading up. You can call me professor. You don't have to be so formal. Well, you can't mess with the market. The free market will always win. Meaning, if there's huge demand and you keep your price low, the price has to go up but based on the market because it's limited and there's high demand forces a high price. Because if I have this, I'm not selling this for $30. No, I'm selling this for $1,000. And if it ain't $1,000, I'm not selling it because I know this is dirt cheap. It's nowhere near what it should be. So therefore, why would I sell it at 30? Some guy asked me, I have American Eagle, gold, and Cougarans and Maple Leafs. So the guy at the coin store where he buys and sells says, do you have any American Eagles? I'll pay you $2,000 for them. And I said, add a zero. When you add a zero, I'll give it to you. At 2,000, no chance. That was at 2,000. I don't know, 7-8 months ago. So now 2,700. And, I told him it was going to go to the moon, and he didn't believe me. Maybe he did. I don't know. I told him, are you taking the gold and putting it in the safe? Because it's going to go up. He says, well, I got to pay rent and all this stuff. I go, okay. And now when I walk in, what's going on, Howard? Silver squeeze, Pat. So what is exactly a silver squeeze? I've heard the term. I have no idea what it is. It doesn't make sense to me. I believe what it is the demand's there and there's no supply, so that'll force the price up. Is that what a silver squeeze is? But it's going up because of the market, but they are very short on physical silver, and yet all these countries need it for the solar panels and the Tomahawk missiles and stuff, and the money. The more gold goes up, people will not, okay, 2,700. Now I got to pay 2,800 for it. When it hits 3,500, you're going to have 3,700 to buy an ounce of gold. No, I'll still be buying quarter ounce. They don't seem to be going up as high as so. Gold goes up 100, so the it cost me 2,600 now cost me 2,700, or it's almost 2,800 now. But the quarter ounces, I was paying 675. Now I'm paying, I think, 750 for them now. So they've gone up a little, but not as much as the other. The tenth of an ounce is, I think I can still get at 300, which I always thought was high because that's 10 of them's 3,000 an ounce, and it was only 2,500. I always thought but those are so cheap at $300 for gold. I'm like, thank you. So my friend Alyssa, I gave her, when we first met, I gave her a quarter ounce of gold. It was worth, I think, $300. So I told her the other day, it's now worth $750. And I says, I tried to get you to invest in gold and silver. When I gave you that, I was hoping you would have put more money and bought more of them. I says, if you would have back then, you would be retired right now. Oh, well. This will come a day and soon. It's when the revalue happens. That's October 22nd. Okay, correct. Okay. Well, why do they call it a squeeze? I mean, what are they squeezing? There are rumors Bank of America is in trouble, and they happen to be short silver as well. That's why they're in trouble, as is JP Morgan, as is Chase, as is Deutsche Bank, and I think that Swiss Bank. All the banks are in trouble because they don't know what they're doing. They don't get it. The only banks that aren't are all the ones getting out of the dollars and buying gold. They're buying the physical, so therefore they're not in a problem. That's when it blows through. Yeah, Bank of America. That Warren Buffett sold, like, I don't know, 1 million shares of it because he probably sees what's going on. Why he doesn't buy gold? He's very stupid, right? I just mentioned Bank of America earlier. The whole system is about to break. Yeah. When did you mention Bank of America? Hey, Luke, your thing's not going through. I don't see anything about Bank of America by you. Missiles flying, port shut, stock market up, Uber. See, I don't see you saying Bank of America. Maybe it was the other day, but yeah, all these banks are in trouble because they're all short. For some reason, they're shorting gold. Like, these are the stupidest people I've ever seen. How much demand do you need to see by all the central banks to realize gold's going up, not down? So why would I short something going up? Oh, because we price fix it. Yeah, but it ain't working. All it's doing is letting them buy the gold cheaper than they should be. They should all be paying 35, 4,000, 5,000 for an ounce of gold, and you're letting them get it cheaper. And it destroys us because we don't have gold. And so therefore, those with the gold make a ton, and those without the gold are like fucked. Many customers of Banker are reporting zero balances. Again, why I have no money in the bank. You've been warned. I've warned you many, many times to get your money out of the stock market and out of the banks. Now you're starting to realize that I'm right, because they're going to lose money because of these derivatives, right? And because they have to invest your savings. So when they do that, if they give it out as loans and the people don't pay the loans back, the bank's fucked, because that's the bank's revenue, is loaning your money out. It's a strange game, right? Okay, Luke gives me 10 grand and I'm gonna either invest it in stocks or loan it out to somebody with good credit to get back 7% on the money and give Luke his 3%. I'm going to make 4%. That's how I make money in the banking system. There's no revenue. It's taking my deposits and loaning them out and getting more money and then paying the customer back. That's how a bank works. So all the banks are in trouble because and then you've got the commercial real estate bust, the housing bust, the cars, all the auto loans people can't afford them. Uh, so I went to get a massage, and the lady asked me about, well, what's going to happen to people with dollars? How are they going to survive? I go, they're not going to survive. That's the point. You need to buy gold and silver because you need to get out of the dollar because it will have no value. So you need to go into something with value. So how do you survive the Titanic? You found the lifeboat. How do you survive the dollar dropping? You've got to find the lifeboat. And there's only one, gold and silver. Maybe you can get a Rolex. It'll go to zero like your house and your car, but it'll then get revalued in gold, especially something like Rolex. I mean, I know if I can buy a Rolex for 2 ounces of gold, I probably will. If it's like a $300,000 Rolex. But again, the paper, everything valued in paper is really worthless anyway. I mean, you got a $500,000 house valued in this. Is it really worth? It's worth 500,000. What? This has no value. This has been killed. So therefore, a $500,000 house, it's like your friends with the $2 million in the 401k. It's monopoly money. You don't have anything. At best, you've lost 99%. At best, you have 1%, which gives you what, 40 grand? And you think you're sitting on 4 million. It isn't worth anything. This is the point that they can't comprehend. It's not worth anything. You're sitting on toilet paper, wallpaper. It's something with a 1 on it or 100. It's not. This has no value. But it's so hard. People don't want to admit it. They don't want to know they've been fucked over by the Madoffs, and that's it. Pat, looks like the next Credit Suisse to me. Hey, Luke, we are here. It's happening. Google is shadow banning. I think before end of year, the entire reset will happen. I don't know what this reset is. I don't know why people call it a reset. They're not resetting anything. It's like marking ribs from $20 to $30. Did you reset it? No, you just changed the price. So I don't know what they're resetting. I think they'll come out with new currency because this currency is done. You cannot have a $36 trillion debt. You can't pay it off. You either go bankrupt or you switch the money and it's worth more. Or let's just say, well, we'll humor Luke and say they have 8,000 tons in your Fort Knox. Then they should go ahead and raise the price of gold and pay it off. But if they aren't doing that, tells me they don't have it. What is shadow banning, Luke? The whole world is about to change for the better, but paying beforehand. It should have changed in 2008. 2008 should have collapsed it, right? I think 2000 should have collapsed it, but 2008 should have collapsed it. A lot of people lost a lot of money and banks went out. How we survived that is why everybody thinks, well, we survived that, we'll survive. But nothing can happen. We're America. They'll just print more money. Nobody understands that concept of you can't print more money. They don't get the concept. So what are you going to do? I mean, that's why it's hard to tell people the sky is falling and nobody's going to listen because we're the US dollar and we're the reserve currency. Nobody even understands what reserve currency is. We blackmailed everybody that they had to exchange dollars. So you want to exchange Swiss francs for euros, you have to turn it into dollars and use the dollar to buy the euro. That's blackmail. Why can't I just use my own currency? Why can't I take my Swiss franc and buy a euro? Why do I need to buy a dollar to buy it? So everybody's been just blackmailed by the US. That's the reserve currency. That ain't the reserve currency. Reserve currency is what everybody wants, not what you're forced to take. Google reads my post I place here as well as everyone's. I post the Bank of America one again, and you can't see it. Yeah, it's probably AI. Well, yeah. Well, you've got to misspell it like you did yesterday. Like, don't say taxes, say TA and then space X and space ES. So with BOA, just say B space O space A, and then AI can't read it. I know Bobby used to have a problem with that. He'd type things in, and I couldn't read it. But who cares? I just ignore all that shit. That's the beauty of gold. You just sit there and you don't have to pay attention to any of this shit. I'm not worried about the banks because I'm not in the bank. All I have is Fifth Third, where I get my a check comes in, or I move my Teaserking money into that, and then I go take it out and buy gold or silver with it, or pay bills with it. I wanted to use. I had to book the plane ticket. I used my credit card. I booked the hotel. I used my credit card. So I don't really care. There's nothing at the bank. I don't even know if we'll have to pay our credit cards back because you owe. Let's say you owe $5,000 in this, but this isn't real. So when this goes out, does your credit card balance go to zero? Because there's no dollars to pay it off with. Or will they switch it to the new currencies, dollars? But I don't know if, again, CBDCs will only be like Bitcoin. You don't have to use it. It's out there, but they're not going to okay, all the banks are closed. Now it's CBDC. It's not going to be like that. It can't be like that. It'll be simply, we're giving you a CBDC if you want it, because you don't have to take it. Just like you don't have to be in Bitcoin. You don't have to be in a debit and a credit card. It's all your choice. So I don't know how many people are going to want it. It doesn't work in China. Everybody says it works in China. It doesn't work in China. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants central bank involved. It's totally illegal to be a central bank per the Constitution, but whatever. I just bought some more Hecla Mining, biggest silver producer in U.S. Well, your analysis is correct, right? Silver will go up, but your theory's wrong in the fact that even if it is undervalued, nobody's buying stocks. People are losing their ass. All the foreigners are selling the stocks because they want to get out of U.S. This is the part that you must understand. So they're not going to well, wait, keep my silver stock. The U.S. people are all in Apple and Amazon. Nobody's going into these stocks. This is the part you're missing. Yes, they are undervalued, but nobody's going to buy them. So because they're undervalued doesn't mean they're going to go up in value. People will make a run for this because they'll want to go to the grocery store and the restaurant. They need to eat, so they're going to run for physical. If you do buy the stock, are you able to sell it and get the money out? Maybe now, but not soon, because when the banks who run your stocks, E-Trade or whatever, I think JP Morgan owns it. When that happens, you're fucked. I mean, it'll. Well, I'd like to sell my Amazon and take my money. They're going to say, sorry, legally we own it. We can give it to you, but if you wait too long, you're not going to get it. So even if you do that, and the yen does this and the dollar does that, and your stock goes up, how do you get it out? This is why I want you in this, because nobody can fuck you with this, right? The banks can't keep it. The banks can't say, well, that 100 grand you have, I'm not going to give you. That's the problem. The Bitcoin's in dollars. When the dollar goes out, Bitcoin's worthless. So people aren't grasping the concept that this has no value. This is the key concept. This is worthless. Everything priced in this is worthless. Your house is worthless. Your car is worthless in dollars. It has a value as an asset. So you got $100,000 Rolex. In dollars, it's worthless. In gold, it has a big value. The mantle card, the house, everything gets reshuffled into a gold-backed currency or whatever in gold. And so with an ounce of gold, you'll be able to do it, which is sort of what's happening now. People are selling their gold at the jewelry store where I buy my gold. They're selling it because they need money to buy groceries and pay their rent. So to pay their expenses out, wait till the banks blow up. There'll be a line out the door selling their gold and silver to get money to eat, and not realizing this is food right here. And people say, "Well, there won't be any food." Why not? You think you think all the grocery stores are not preparing for this and having alternate resources where they can get the food from Chile, from Mexico, from other places, where they can buy it and then sell it? That's their job. Their job is to bring in money to pay $100 for a bunch of apples and to sell it for 150. That's how a grocery store works. So you think they're not going to have the apples coming in to sell them? You got to be kidding me. Of course they've made alternative. That's Sam's Club and Costco and Walmart. You think this is a billionaire who owns it? He's not an idiot. I think all stocks will crash, but gold, silver, mining stocks will crank. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't put my money in a stock right now because that you want to be in this because they can't manipulate this, as I just said. So who's going to buy the stocks that'll crank it? Who's going to have money to buy the stocks? How are the stocks going to be valued? Not in dollars, because there won't be a dollar to value them in. See, right now the U.S. dollar values everything. The FX with the other countries, the gold and the silver, the Bitcoin, everything's valued in dollar. I get my Canadian club, it's valued in dollars. And when it goes out, which it's going to do, looks like sooner than later, when it goes out, what's it going to cost you? And how are you going to buy it? The free market, Say's law, Austrian economics, works by some sort of medium of exchange. So if you fuck this over where it's worthless because you overprinted, this will become the medium of exchange until they make paper this. But these idiots are caught so unprepared because they think you can print as much as you want and it won't matter. And this is the problem. This will always buy you food because it's real. Your stocks, the thought's good, but in you're 20 years ago when you didn't know the dollar wasn't going out. So yes, it makes sense that the gold and that the silver stocks should go up because the gold's going up. Perfect sense to me. That makes sense, but not in this time. In this time, the dollar won't have a value. What's the stock going to be valued in? It'll crank because, as you said, if gold and silver, silver goes to $1,000 an ounce, that stock should shoot to the moon. But again, you're using an analysis when everything's normal and everything's not normal. And that's what you kind of are not catching that part of the equation, right? You're 10 years ago going, well, I'm not going to, in a normal world without everybody selling their stocks and the market crashing, all the stocks will crash. 1929, everybody crashed. So I don't see where this is not going to happen, right? I can't imagine this, the stocks will have any value. How can they? All their balance sheets are in dollars. How are they going to sell them? Who's going to buy a car with what? I mean, you've got the whole free market fucked up because there's no medium of exchange. Now, when they come out with a new medium of exchange, then maybe you buy your silver or gold stock with the gold or silver that you have. Then you will trade it in and go, okay, I want 1,000 shares of what's this stock? Hecla. Give me 2,000 new gold-backed currency dollars. Give me 2,000 shares in gold-backed currency of Hecla. Then you'll be okay. But until that happens, you can't do it in dollars because there's no value. And the bank's going to get crushed. So I think JP Morgan owns E-Trade. They're going to be crushed. They're not going to let you cash out. That's the other part of the equation. Getting your money out of the banks and the stock market, you're fucked. How are you going to get it out? You're going to go to the bank, it's going to be closed. That's why I say, please do not have anything in a safety deposit box in a bank. They will just shut the door and say, sorry, it's our bank. We were loaning you the safety deposit box. We're not letting you into it. You do not want that. Just stay away from banks and government offices and all that. Maybe a U-Haul, like I said, or these moving storage places where you got the lock and key and it's in your name and you pay, I don't know, $100 a month for it or whatever it is. It's the only way. And then maybe you can put some stuff in there. But the key is going to be what current, I believe there'll be USD2. I don't believe we have gold, so we can't go gold back currency unless we can get on to the BRICS gold. Can we join BRICS and use the BRICS gold back currency? Are they going to let the US do that? It's our only option or we're fucked. So we got to find a country we can buy gold back BRICS. Maybe it's Russia. Maybe we all go live with Daria and have gold back currency and we can sell our gold for that or just keep it. And then who cares what the stock is? So you're like talking about interest rates or inflation. I don't care. It's we know the dollar is worthless. So you want to buy a stock if there's even stocks available, if you can even make money at it, if anybody's interested in being in the market. When it crashes and everybody needs their money and they sell. So as people need their money here because they don't have gold and the dollar becomes worthless as it's going, it's already worth what, 1 cent? As that's happening, people are selling their assets to eat and pay their mortgage or rent or not. That's really where the problem is. You're trying to make money on a stock that it's not going to happen. There's not going to be buyers. Everybody's going to be broke, except for people like us who have the gold and silver. So why not just have more gold and silver? I don't know what you're trying to do. You're going to make so much money in gold and silver. Why are you fucking around with stocks? Because you're not in charge of it. You have the gold and silver in your hands. That's you got, right? You're fine. Nobody can take it away from you. Nobody can make it worthless because it doesn't need to be priced in dollars. This will get priced in silver. Gold will be priced in gold. 2 ounces buys you a nice house. 5 ounces of this might buy you a car. Nobody can take it away, and it doesn't need to be priced in dollars. Stocks do. Your bank, good luck getting your money out because once it hits, we see that Attack on Wall Street movie, and the guy says, I don't care about the people. I only care about our firm. I just want our firm to be solvent. I don't care if we bankrupt everybody who's a customer. Well, that's what the banks are going to do. That's what Chase and JP Morgan are going to do. And I don't give a fuck about our customers. We're taking all their money so we can survive because that's their mentality. It's about them surviving. Therefore, I hope you don't have any money in the bank or just a little bit for bills. And mine is in my safe. My money's in my safe. My money, all my gold and silver, all my Mantle cards and everybody else is all in my safe. Safe and sound. So, as far as that goes, that's where we're at. So, that's really what you want to do is you want that. So that's really the key to it. So, you got to rethink things that they're not going to be the way they are now. And I think you're struggling with that, Luke. You know it's a good investment. I don't argue with you, except for nobody's going to have the dollars won't be worth anything, and nobody's going to be running and buying stocks. They'll be running and buying gold and silver because you can take that to the grocery store, or you can buy a house, or you can buy a Rolex with it. But what am I going to do with the stock? How can I sell it and how can I get my money for it? So even if you bought it at 10 and it goes to 40, you made a lot of money. Now what do you do? Well, are you going to sell it and take profit on it? Okay. How are you're going to sell it in what? It's not worth dollars. you're going to try to get it out, and JP Morgan's not going to let you take it out. And he says, sorry, it's ours. We don't have to give it to you. See, once the mushroom cloud happens, then everything changes, as you're calling it a reset or whatever it is. I don't know what a reset is, but the only reset I know is like if you turn off your phone and turn it back on. But you don't do that with money. You just, it's the market controls what everything is. So that's how I view everything. So just be very careful. I wouldn't have a lot in stock, and you're so much better at physical gold and silver. Now you've got a shitload of silver. So what we've been looking at is every time gold goes up $100, if you have 50 ounces, you made $5,000. And you've done it at 2,000, at 2,100, all the way up now close to 2,700. So you've just made 700 times 50. You've just made $35,000. So did you make that in the stocks? No, because people aren't interested in the stocks. The reason gold's going up, all the central banks are buying it. So just go with the flow. Go find your lifeboat and go with it. So my point was, you got what, 5,000 ounces of silver? So you realize every $100 you're going to make $500,000. When silver goes from 30 to 130, you will have made, with 1,000 ounces, $100,000. Are you really worried about a fucking stock when the silver price goes from 100 to 500? You are now worth what, 1,000 times 500, 6 zeros. So you had 2 zeros to the end. So you're at 500,000 or 5 million. Do you really care about the stock? And we don't need dollars for the gold and silver. It'll be its own master. So it will be the price. So you don't need gold. It's the only thing you don't need dollars for. Keep that in mind also. You need dollars for your stocks. You do not need dollars for this. I don't care if there's a dollar or not, this will have a value. Let's go to Rome. This will have a value because it is money. And sometimes I think you're kind of missing the point on that. You know it's constitutional money, but why do you want to be in stocks that are controlled by somebody else when you have control? And with all your silver, it goes up $100. You're a rich motherfucker. What are you messing around with stocks that maybe you can sell and get out of versus just, I got all this silver, you go throw it up in the air and play with you and the kids play with it on Christmas, going, let's count our money again. Let's count our silver again at $500 an ounce. That's really the key. Yeah, the stocks will crash, the banks will crash, but not the gold and silver. That's really what the key message is here. The dollar will go out. Now, they will come out with a new one. Russia's on their 8th ruble. China's, I don't know how many yuan, and the yen is crushed, and the rupee is crushed. All these currencies are crushed, right? So it's not like it doesn't happen. And because we're the reserve currency doesn't mean shit, because we're really not. What is a reserve currency? It's what all the countries are forced to use. Well, they're not anymore. They're all getting the fuck out. They're going, we're de-dollarizing. And Trump, who's nobody, is saying, well, then I'm going to put tariffs on you. Fine, we don't. What's the point of doing business with you? Your money's crap. Why do I want to even accept your money? Right? So think about it. Well, who wants to do business with the U.S.? You're sanctioning us. What are you sanctioning us with? Your money's worthless. So all you got 350 million people with worthless money. I don't want your business anyway. And that's really the key to it. So understand that concept. If you got the gold and silver, you're fine. You have nothing to worry about. And if you have the things, if you have stocks or money in the bank, are you going to be able to get it out? Probably not. Because there's new laws that say the stock broker can keep your money. The banks can bail you in. That $100,000, it's really ours. We let you keep it here, but we're not going to give it back to you. What are you going to do? Sue them? You're suing the government. You're going to win? Nah. Why let other people rain on your parade is basically it. So that's really the key to it, is get into the lifeboat and just get more gold and just get more physical, unless you're just bored with the physical and you want stocks. But in the theory, yes, your stock should go up as gold and silver goes up. But in reality, is it? So gold just went up $700. Did the stock go up at all? Newmont, I don't know. It's still $40 or whatever. It didn't go up as much as my coins went up. So I don't know, but that's kind of my point. So again, don't think the stock market's only going to go up. That's just the stupidest comment I've ever heard. Well, look, it's gone up. It keeps going up. No, it hasn't. In 2008, I thought it went down. Okay, yes, it's worth more now, but this is with inflated dollars and the government printing money to make the stock go up because there's an election, and people are so stupid that if they see stock market high, the economy's doing well. And then they come in and say, oh, well, the inflation's only 2%. Oh my God. You can't measure inflation with percentage. First place, second place, it's got to be at least 30, 40%, because the price has gone up because you're measuring it year over year. Who says that's right? Go back 5 years. Do Coke at 99 cents. Now Coke's at $3. What's the percentage? 300%? You want to sell me 2%? I ain't smelling what you're cooking there, rock guy. I'm typing into cyberspace. Put dashes or spaces in between. I see. I think stocks will crash. Forgive me, Professor. I usually read them when I see them, right? I say, Luke, and I go, this only allow you to hear what they want. Luke, I just bought some more Hecla Mining, biggest silver producer. So I'm not getting all of it. So I'm typing into cyberspace, but you need to just misspell a word. I'll figure it out, or put a space in between, I and G or whatever it is, BOA. Now, I do say I just mentioned Bank of America earlier. So they did allow you to put Bank of America down. You can just put BOA. I know what it means. The whole system. So some of them are getting through. I don't know why the others. Pats came through, although I don't know that they're all Pats. Looks like the next Credit Suisse to me. Hey, Luke, we are here. It's happening. So I do see some chats. I do not block any chat. There's nothing I'm blocking. It's either you're blocked or you're not, and I can see what I see yours, so I assume they're all there. 2657. It hit 2661. Good boy. So I'm not going to do videos tonight. They're banning me with our conversation. Well, see, there I can read it. I'm typing into cyberspace, I can read it. So whatever you're trying to tell me, just put spaces in. I'll get it. If you want to say gold, GO space LD, I'll figure it out. Because they're looking for certain words, I guess. Anyway, they got nothing better to do, Luke, than ban us from talking. Unbelievable. Yeah, but that's the last one. They're banning me with our conversation. It's just, I do see that one. The other ones you're typing, I don't understand. Anyway, so that's the key. Get off the Titanic, get on the lifeboat. But then when you do sell your gold and silver, you don't want to get back on the lifeboat. You don't want to sell it for this. And like I said, unless you have a bill to pay, food to buy, rent to pay. If you have a bill to pay and you just have no more money because you bought all the gold with all your money, you don't have any money left, then yes, go sell an ounce of gold for this to pay your bills. So as long as it goes and gets paid, it's fine. But just be careful, like I say, with you want real assets. right? You want apparently copper's very, very limited also, but copper's so cheap. I don't know how you buy copper. Do you buy copper pennies? But I'm having enough fun with gold and silver. I don't think I'm gonna. We'll make enough of silver. I don't really need copper, but it's being used in a lot of industrial stuff like silver. It is money, but I don't. Are they printing 1 ounce? Are they printing 1 ounce copper? This I don't know, but apparently that's real limited. Um, I don't know. I mean, this crazy war, so all the defense contractors can make money. I mean, this is you have a war for it. Really stupid. I know there's a war because I talked to Jenna and she shows me a missile. She shows me fires. Uh, she said there used to be a bus stop and now it's blown up. So they're blowing up bus stop. What is that? It's insanity. Anyway, understand what's going on. The dollar's worthless. That's the first. That's your first. That's the iceberg. It's worthless because you can't keep printing it, and there's nothing you can do to stop inflation once it's going out, short of burning all the money. Because once you print it, it's printed, and you can't. There's nothing you can do to make it have more value once it's printed. Nothing, because it's printed. I printed $150 trillion. You printed it. It's printed. There's nothing you can do to say now it's only 140 trillion. No, it's 150 trillion you printed. And so that's the inflation. It has no value. So there's nothing you can do. Raising prices or interest rates is not going to affect it. They're raising interest rates to slow the economy. That doesn't slow inflation. That's why when Reagan raised the interest rate to 20%, it didn't slow the inflation. It slowed the economy. But in 1987, all he did was delay it. Then you had this big stock market crash because of the heavy inflation. In Russia, their interest rates are very high. Didn't stop the inflation. There's heavy inflation in Russia. So not quite sure what's going on there. Um, every place that has inflation, the only way out's gold. And everybody has inflation. Everybody with this, you don't think the euro has heavy inflation? I heard somebody say, well, this will be the reserve currency. There won't be a reserve currency. We don't need a reserve currency. This is worthless. You know what the reserve currency is? This and gold. These are the reserve currencies. You know why? Because it's limited. It's got to be limited. You can't print it. You can't copy it. There's only so much gold and silver out there. And that's it. And the people sitting on a lot of gold and silver, a lot of silver like Luke, they're going to be really rich because it's going to, let's say you got, 5,000 ounces of it. I don't know. Luke's got a lot. Let's say he's got 1,000 ounces. Like I said, every $100, you made $100,000. And it's not going to be very long before it goes up $100. And once it does, everybody's going to run in, pushing the price higher. So then it goes to 1,000, and now you're a millionaire. And that's not a far-fetched, hard thing to do. It's already close to it. So keep that in mind. Did you see my Social Security post? No. I saw your cyberspace. I'm typing in the cyber, but Social Security, no, I didn't see that. Yeah, try typing it like that. Maybe I can see it. But no, as soon as I see it, I go Luke and I read the, I think all stocks will crash. I saw that post, but I tell you I say it. So I say, Luke, and here's your post, and I'm reading it. So no, if I don't read it, I don't see it. Now I'm curious about Social Security, the fact that it's broke and it's been broke since 1995. Yeah, I already know that. But they'll just print the money because they need the votes, and they can't piss off all the seniors who are getting Social Security. And so that's what'll happen. So I don't know. They're banning you, but then you just did you see my Social Security post was allowed to go through? So there must be certain words you're typing in that there's having a problem with. I don't know. I am not, uh, like I said, I don't block anything. All right, I just switched the setting to monitor. It was um, community moderation, moderation activity. So I just turned that on. I think then I can control it. Maybe I don't know. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. So I don't know. Maybe now try typing something in and let me see if I can see it. But like I said, Luke, I'm sorry, but I don't. There's nothing I'm doing that is not allowed, and a lot of your stuff is showing up. So it's not a block or anything like that. But let's see. Anyway, so you're trying to be ahead of the game, and you got to understand the game, and the game simply the dollars are worthless. It happens a lot. It happened to Rome, England, France, Spain. You print too much money, it's worthless. It's happened Venezuela, Zimbabwe. Why do you think these countries, Greece, all have problems? Because they printed too much money. I mean, it's going on right now in Venezuela, Argentina. Zimbabwe went to a gold-backed currency. All the central banks are buying gold. They're not buying Bitcoin, they're buying gold. Why? Because that's the dollar's worthless and the gold will be valuable. So that's why they're doing it. So anyway, I'm not seeing any posts, Luke. So I don't know. I'm not blocking them, but we'll see. Anyway, that's about it. So travel next week. Be back for the 22nd. I mean, it should be a huge day for us. Gold 26.57. Silver 31.79. So again, silver's up 42 cents and gold's down $3. It's just funny how that works, where the gold is, goes up $100 and silver goes up 30 cents. Unbelievable. But see, that's why people don't want to own silver. They don't realize what it's really worth. They only see the paper price. How there's no physical market is beyond me, but I think that's where we're headed to, is a physical market, not this bullshit paper stuff. Why is it going down now? It ain't nobody selling gold. It's not consolidation. That's bullshit. None of that's real. It's the derivatives. JP Morgan doing derivative. We got to lower the price. Let's do a put option and say we want the price down. That's what's going on. No, who's selling gold? What are you selling it for? Well, I'll sell my gold and get 26.60. Wait, but you're going to pay me in dollars? Oh no, I don't want it then. I don't want it for dollars. No. So that's the problem. Anyway, I think that's about it. I am tired. Anything else? If you can type, please do. Pat, Luke, have a nice night. Anybody else, have a nice night. I posted one lock in tomorrow's play in the NFL, if you want it. www.teaserking.com. Friday night class, 7 to 8 in college football, 8 to 9 in pro, $25. I go through all the games and give you my picks. Nobody's taking advantage of it except for Alex and a couple other people, and I'm just blown away by it. So everybody comes to my free class for my picks, which I'm not giving out, and they don't have $25 to get my picks that I'm giving away on that. I don't understand it. And the last thing is this guy who wanted classes, came to me for classes, and now doesn't have the courtesy of or respect to say, oh, I don't want him anymore. His excuse is, well, I'm busy. And now he's not even responding. I sent an email. Are we meeting? Are you interested? What the fuck? And I don't even get an email back. I don't understand people like that. It's very disrespectful. This is business. And if you don't, because coming up Friday, I'm going to assume we're doing the class until you say, not interested. Why is that so hard to do? And don't give me the shit. I don't want to hurt your feelings. It ain't going to hurt my feelings. You're pissing me off by not emailing me to say this is what we're doing. So let me, since I'm not seeing anything, I'm going to change this moderation activity. I don't know. Anyway, that's the last one I see, Luke. Did you see my Social Security? Anyway, don't be rude. Don't be unprofessional. I'm happy to give you a class that the benefits are a lot more than the $25 you're paying. However, if you don't like it or you're not interested, tell me, and then I won't plan on having a class with you. Don't ignore me. Nothing pisses me off more than non-professionalism and being ignored from a business transaction. If you get a chance to watch the Vince McMahon thing, I like the beginning. It's like 6 episodes, so I like the beginning. The last 2 episodes are just stupid. He gets into these lawsuits, sexually harassing women and the thing. Now, just me, if I'm a billionaire and I want to screw around, I probably just get porn stars and screw around with them. Here's your money, and it's a lot cheaper than $10-12 million, and it's very discreet because they don't want anything out, so it's usually pretty discreet, and that's it. But you got to be careful with girls like that because they're just after money, so be careful. But I think that's what I would have done instead of employees of mine. If I'm running a business, you don't really want to do sexual harassment suits and everything. That's crazy. All right. I think I am done. Again, buy your gold and silver while you can, especially the silver. Just buy it now. It's so cheap. And the dollar's going out. And I don't know. I assume Europe's still going to take the dollar for a while, but Russia's not. So if I go to meet Daria in Russia, it's really hard for me to how would I pay for the hotel? How would I pay for the food? I would use my credit card, which won't take. I would use my dollars, but they won't take them. They can't. So I can see where she's coming from. I can smell what she's cooking. Anyway, I wouldn't waste time with the Vince McMahon. Maybe the early ones where he explains how he got into it and Hulk Hogan and The Rock. But after that, the last 2 episodes, just stupid. All right, a lot of football this weekend. Looking forward to that. And like I said, I have probably 4 locks. We will see. Anyway, have a good day. I will talk to you. I'll try to talk to you tomorrow. Now that the Tigers are done, then I don't watch a lot of baseball. It's not even on normal TV. It's the stupidest sports, like hockey. It's not even on regular TV. I don't even get CBC. So what is the point of? You want the exposure. You don't want. That's why people advertise. They want the exposure. So like baseball's on now. I don't have ESPN, so I can't watch it. Not my loss is their loss. I don't care. Anyway, if you notice college football, that's on ABC, NBC, CBS. They get it, as do the NFL most of the time. All right, we got one London game this week. The Jets in Minnesota from London at 9:30. I'm sure everybody will go by Apple Prime or whatever it is to go watch that. Yeah, probably not. Anyway, have a nice night, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Buy your gold and silver. You want to hold it, and then nobody can fuck with you with it. If you have it in paper, stocks, ETFs, You're fucked. If you're in the bank, you're fucked. Real estate trust, you're like the guy from Attack on Wall Street. All right. Okay. Have a nice night. Take care, everybody. Be good.